The room was quiet, but no one wanted to leave. Their teacher was about to die, and yet he spoke calmly, almost peacefully. There were no tears from him, no panic, no fear, only questions and one final piece of wisdom. This is the last lesson Socrates gave his students as he died. Socrates was born in Athens around 469 BC. His father, Socrates, was a sculptor, and his mother, Phanerete, worked as a midwife. These two influences mattered more than they seemed. From his father, he learned patience and shaping ideas carefully. From his mother, he later said he learned how to bring ideas into the world, just like a midwife helps bring life into the world. He lived a simple life. He wore the same rough clothing in every season and often walked barefoot even in cold weather. He did not chase wealth or comfort. People sometimes found his behavior strange. There are stories of him standing still for hours, lost in thought, unaware of everything around him. Once during a military campaign, he reportedly stood in one place for an entire day and night, thinking deeply about something. Socrates also served as a soldier. He fought in the Peloponnesian War and showed courage in battle. This is important because it shows that he was not only a thinker, but also someone who acted when needed. People respected him for this. He was known to stay calm even in danger and to support his fellow soldiers when situations became difficult. Despite all this, he never wrote anything down. Everything we know about him comes from others, especially his student Plato, as well as Xenophon and Aristophanes. Each of them described him differently. Some admired him deeply, while others mocked him. But together, they gave us a picture of a man who spent his life questioning everything. Socrates became known for his way of teaching. He did not stand in front of a class and give lectures. Instead, he walked through Athens and talked to people. He asked questions, simple ones at first, but those questions would slowly reveal something deeper. For example, if someone said they understood justice, Socrates would ask them to explain it. Then he would examine their answer carefully and point out where it didn't quite make sense. Then he would ask another question, and another. This method made people uncomfortable, but it also made them think. It pushed them to reflect on their own beliefs and question ideas they had always accepted without doubt. He called this process a kind of intellectual midwifery. Just as his mother helped deliver children, he believed he was helping people deliver ideas that were already inside them. Over time, Socrates gained attention. Many young people followed him and listened to his conversations. But not everyone was happy about this. Some older citizens felt that he was challenging traditions too much. Others believed he was making the youth question authority. His habit of exposing ignorance in public also embarrassed powerful people. This eventually led to his trial. At the age of 70, Socrates was brought to court. He was accused of corrupting the youth and not believing in the gods of Athens. Instead, he was said to believe in new spiritual ideas. These charges were serious, and they reflected the growing tension between Socrates and the city. During the trial, Socrates defended himself, but he did not try to win sympathy. He did not beg for mercy. Instead, he spoke honestly, just as he always had. He explained that his mission came from a deeper purpose. He believed he was meant to question people and help them think more clearly. He even spoke about a guiding inner voice that warned him against making wrong decisions. The jury listened, but in the end, they found him guilty. Now came the question of punishment. Socrates could have suggested a lighter sentence like exile. Instead, he stayed firm. He refused to say something he did not believe just to save himself. This made the jury even more upset. They sentenced him to death. The method was simple but final. He would drink hemlock, a poison that slowly shuts down the body. After the trial, Socrates was taken to prison. His friends and students visited him often. They were shocked and heartbroken. They tried to find ways to save him. One of his close friends even arranged an escape plan. Everything was ready. Guards had been bribed. A safe place had been prepared. But Socrates refused. He believed that escaping would break the laws of Athens. Even though those laws had treated him unfairly, he felt that going against them would be wrong. He had lived his whole life under those laws, and he would not reject them in the end. This decision confused many of his students, but Socrates explained it clearly. Doing what is right matters more than staying alive, and he believed that living without integrity would be worse than death itself. Then came his final day. His students gathered around him. The atmosphere was heavy. Some were crying, others were silent. But Socrates remained calm. This is where his final lesson truly begins. Instead of focusing on his death, he began to talk about the soul. He believed that the soul was not the same as the body. The body could die, but the soul might continue. He shared different ideas about what happens after death. One idea was that death is like a deep sleep without dreams. Another was that the soul moves on to another place where it continues to exist. He did not claim to know exactly what happens, but he argued that death should not be feared blindly. It should be examined, just like any other question. His students listened carefully. Some asked questions. Others struggled to accept his calm attitude. But Socrates continued, guiding them step by step. He explained that a philosopher spends life preparing for death, not by being sad, but by focusing on truth instead of physical pleasures. By learning to think clearly and detach from distractions, a philosopher becomes ready to face whatever comes next. This was not a speech filled with emotion. It was thoughtful and clear. Even with his last breaths, he was teaching. As time passed, the moment came closer. The guard entered with the cup of poison. It was time. Socrates took the cup without hesitation. Before drinking, he spoke to his friends one last time. He reminded them to continue seeking truth. And for his last lesson, he encouraged them to question everything, just as he had done. Then he drank the hemlock. The effect was slow. First, his legs began to feel heavy. Then the numbness spread upward through his body. His students watched in silence. Even in these final moments, Socrates remained calm. He lay down as the poison moved through him. His breathing became slower. His voice grew weaker. Then he spoke his final words. He asked one of his friends to remember to repay a small debt. It was a simple request, but it showed something important. Even at the end, his mind was clear, and he cared about doing what was right. It also reflected his belief that even the smallest duties should not be ignored. Soon after, his body became still. Socrates was gone, but his lesson remained. What he showed that day was more powerful than any book. He showed that thinking clearly can bring peace, even in the face of death. He showed that fear does not have to control us, and he showed that staying true to your beliefs matters more than anything else. His life also teaches the value of humility. He believed that wisdom begins when we admit we do not know everything. That simple idea changed philosophy forever. After his death, his students carried his ideas forward. Plato wrote down his conversations. Others shared his teachings across different places. Over time, his influence spread far beyond Athens. Today, Socrates is remembered as one of the greatest thinkers in history. His method of questioning is still used in education, law, justice, and everyday discussions. His ideas continue to shape how people think about truth, knowledge, and morality. His final moments are still studied today, not because they were dramatic, but because they were honest. He faced death the same way he faced life, with questions, meaning, calmness, and with courage. That was his final lesson, and even now, thousands of years later, it still speaks.